Warning, this show contains adult language, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it's entirely dedicated to improving quality of life through liberation and independence for both people and planet, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. My life is in shambles. My daughter almost broke her leg. My truck broke down. A few minor setbacks, but I've learned how to deal with these situations, and I think it takes me from beyond what public education can teach you, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So that's the topic. This is episode 210, and it's beyond public education. I have a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts about the educational systems that we have and the real life, I would like to say, real life instances that we need to learn, like I'm experiencing right now, and we have to deal with them. That's the background noise, guys, is my F-350 pickup truck. I do these podcasts on my work commute, so sorry for the background noise. Once the show gets off the ground, then we'll actually get ourselves in a real studio. But we all have a lot of problems and ideas and things. I think everybody thinks they got it all figured out. I know I've got a lot of stuff figured out. I don't have it all, but the one thing I can say, and hopefully you can see as well, is that our public education systems are failing us in many, many ways, and I think that the parents are a part to play too. It's not just public education, because we're supposed to teach them of some of the things like we're going to talk about today, but mainly a lot of our job as teachers, as adults, as mentors, as elders, is to prepare children for real life living, for situations. So the first one on my list here is how to make money. And you're going to hear a lot of millionaires, billionaires talking about this. And a lot of them are pretty pissed off, saying, hey, they teach you absolutely nothing. And some of them actually say, do you think that was an accident? Do you think this was by design? I don't know how I feel about that. Some of it sounds conspiracy theorist, but I do know that if everybody was rich and everybody was making money, there wouldn't be room for all of us. I don't think it would be even possible. So, but those of us who do get it, those of us who can see these certain aspects of the way money works, how to make money, I think are better off. I think we are pretty safe to say that most people are just going to stay asleep. And it's not this woke movement thing that's going up to a certain extent, but it kind of is like, if you don't wake up and you don't look on what's going on around you, then you're going to live life poor and miserable, or you're just going to get by. And if that's what you want, I think it's fine. I think most people just want to get by. But for those that want to get ahead, and those who are stressed out and they're not liking what's going on in their lives, they need to understand these things. They need to understand how to make money. And I think one of my biggest ones I've said, it's one of my sayings, I'll say it for the rest of my life, is you do not wake up in the morning to go to work. You wake up every single day to go make money. And this doesn't matter whether you're working for somebody or you own your own business. And the problem I hear, and it's quite frankly, I'm fucking tired of it, is that you take one step forward and then you'll take 10 steps back. And that's the way life just goes. No, you have complete opportunity all around you. It's just that you're not aiming yourself. You're going to work. There's literally people who are saying, I don't know what's happening. I'm working 10, 12-hour days and I'm still not making it. Well, you're working at the wrong type of things. So just that simple little lesson of go to make money. If you're at a job that's not paying you, they're treating you like shit, and you're not going to really make that much, well, start educating yourself. There's nobody stopping you from doing that. And start working your way up towards a better job. And a better job is going to require you to have knowledge and experience and things. You need to have equal value for value exchange. And there is a lot of people out there, granted, that won't accept your value. They just want to get the most money out of you, and then they can replace you when they get tired of you, or you get sick and you finally break down. They've got 20 other people just waiting in line. That's how a lot of people make sick money. We talked about true good money, a symbiotic relationship where we're giving and getting in return. And this is a relationship that you do have to nurture, but it almost nurtures itself, and it keeps going on and on and on. Like perpetual motion, and you find somebody you trust. Why wouldn't you not? Why would you not stick with these people? So there's many lessons that I just said just in those few sentences right there. We do limit the show to 15 minutes, so that's why I kind of just gone through some bullet points here. I can't afford to do these shows. My budget doesn't allow me to do them an hour and a half, although I'd love to. But I need some support here. Let's get back into it now. How to manage money, I think, is the biggest one. There's a lot of people, millionaires, that will say that once you get your first million, it's kind of scary because before you just had to work at something, right? You had nothing really to lose because you didn't have money. But now that you do have money, it's like, oh shit, I got to make sure I don't lose all this stuff. So you need to learn how to manage it. There's countless stories you guys can look up for yourselves on Google of like NFL, like football players, rock stars and stuff, like where are they now? And a lot of them lost all their shit. They were living the high life and spending lots of money but not investing and not managing their money well. And now they lost it all. It's very common, I guess, with people who win the lottery. So money management skills is definitely, and are these things being taught, right? Are these the things being in public education? And when we think about it, these are all the things we're going to talk about today. These are some of the most important things you can have going on in your life. So this is what I stand by. Some of the things today of when I look and go, no, I don't think so. This is pretty stupid. So multiple skill levels is on my next. We need to teach kids multiple skill levels because what is life? Life is always changing, and we're going to talk about that, pivoting. But for right now, what we got is health. And I think that if some public education systems, I guess, the curriculum does teach you a little bit about health. Some of it, I think, is a bunch of bullshit. We have the food pyramid and stuff like that. There's people who are allergic to grains, to peanuts, for instance. My youngest daughter, she eats peanuts, she gets rash. There's a lot of, we need to understand about those things. Maybe we should teach that if you eat a piece of food, you check your blood pressure before you eat an item that you're afraid of that you may have a food allergy to. Check your blood pressure, eat the food item, just a couple little pieces, wait about 10 minutes and check your blood pressure. If your blood pressure goes up, that may be a good indication that something your body's not liking that food that you're eating, and maybe you should stay away from those things. Maybe you should monitor all the things you eat. If you're not crapping right, if you're not sleeping right, if you can't lose weight, if you have low energy, start monitoring these type of things. It's a very, health just by itself is a huge, huge endeavor to understand, and there's so much information out there, it's hard to know what to fucking believe. But in my opinion, when it comes out, and I don't have this on my notes, is to use your intuition. Meaning when you go to the grocery store, don't look at cheese, burgers, and pizzas and stuff like that, frozen foods. Look at vegetables, look at fruits, look at milks and whatever you're, like even meats. Let your eyes do the buying for you. Feel what it feels like when you put that food in your mouth. It's a long forgotten skill that we have, is our intuition, and we feel it. We use it all the time. You guys have known when you met somebody, you're like, there's just something weird about that person. How the fuck do you know that? You never even spoke to the person really. You don't even really know where they're coming from, but yet you get this feeling where you feel a little guarded. That's your intuition coming in. Sometimes it may be wrong, sometimes it'd be right, but it's there for a reason, right? Some of you felt more powerful things, such as with your children, like, wait a minute, something's going on. You look at them and you're like, there's something going on there. You have this intuitive ability. So yeah, with health, I think it's who gives a shit how much money you've made? And that's one of my biggest things I've seen in successful people, is that their bodies are broken down. I just got off the phone right now. I'm a little worried about this recession here. This is mid-April 2021. Talking to some of the people, the mentors and stuff I have, and I'm just listening to how angry they are. And then listen, well, how's your health? I'm diabetic now. And I even asked one, I says, you think it's even worth it? You think it's worth to go through all the trouble? Because I got this really huge opportunity for a job right now. We're talking like 6 figures, right? And I'm asking this guy, and he's just going, it's not fucking worth it anymore. And I had to keep looking for alternatives and stuff, which we're going to talk about. Well, let's talk about that one right now. We'll just kind of slide into it. So beyond that, the health of some of these individuals I see, because I think they weren't educated. Some of them maybe are, but they put more attention towards money than their own health. If you die, what good is all the money, is basically what I wanted to say, to get the shit out of your mouth. But I wanted to move on real quickly here, because it's not on my notes while it's fresh in my head, is while this guy's telling me how everything's not going to work, I'm continually sitting there looking on how is it going to work. So what I got out of this conversation is that here in Sunnyside, California, they make it very difficult for us business people to work, to conduct business, to make money. There's all these hoops. So I looked at it and I found the problem was employees. You got to spend all this money, you got to file all this paperwork and everything. So when I looked at it, I says, well, what if, because I am able to do this job solo all by myself, that answered the problem. So when I brought the suggestion to him, he goes, oh, that alleviates a lot. But how the hell are you supposed to do that by yourself? I said, well, I'll worry about that because the money is that good, then I don't need to rush. So that was just one example of me constantly listening to the problem and listening to someone who's got their shit together. These are savvy business. We're talking a couple $1 million a year, and they're giving me all the problems. I'm continually searching for solutions, and I think that's what we need. Probably one of the biggest things, I think, in this whole life is that teaching kids how to problem solve, how to find solutions, because guess what? I don't think I need to tell you guys this. We got problems everywhere, don't we? We got shit just fucking going array. This is chaos. But what do? Do we lose our minds? Do we go, oh shit, we're all gonna fucking die? Or do we suck back, sit down, and look at everything from a macro and go, what the fuck is going on? What can I do? What do I have control over? What can I do to make these things a lot better, right? There's no way that we're gonna win this whole thing, but we sure as fuck need to make sure we ain't gonna lose. We want to make sure that we're able to survive and keep things going and manage what we can. If it becomes completely overwhelming, then it's like, look, we can't do this. We got to figure something else out. That's problem solving, and that's looking for solutions instead of just dwelling in the problems. And this next on my notes is research. And I think a lot of people are scared to research. I talk that I research all the time. I've even been told a few times, what are you, some kind of fucking scientist? You know? What degrees do you have? Who gives a fuck what degrees or what books you fucking read? You know? Basically, when you look at like even college information, it's somebody, a scholar or somebody reading a book out to you, right? They're reading you could read that book and you can learn just as much. It's the same thing. Maybe they're answering some questions for you. Which is good in my book. I'm not bashing that entirely. But for the most part, if you're an ingenuitive person, you can kind of figure out a lot of things on your own. So learning to research, as we said, about health and things like that. Well, what's going on? The doctors, our Western medicine at least, tries to give a pill for every ill. Right? I've done this multiple times for myself where I had problems. They gave me pills. They didn't work. I went to a nutritionist. We made some adaptions and some pivots and some different kinks in my diet and added some new things. And guess what? Everything went away. I've had this enough times. From now I go to the doctors, find out what's wrong with me, then go to a nutritionist and figure out what we can do from there. Let's locate the problem. Then I'm going to go to a real healer, right? And do research. In this day and age, it's one of the best times to ever be alive. We have so much information. We have misinformation. We have opposing and things for it and things against certain subjects. But that comes to your expertise to learn how to research and put everything together unbiasedly and to not look for a certain thing. Be open to everything, to go, well, what's the pros and the cons. There's so much stuff that does make sense. So pick to make a healthy, wise, profitable decision. Is to look at everything in its entirety, put it all together like a puzzle, and then make the decision on what you feel is right from all the information you've gathered, all the research. And that brings us into the art of pivoting, which we were talking about. The art of pivot, that's what's happening in my life right now. I've got this recession is starting to affect me, it seems like. Work's getting a lot slower, so I need to pivot onto new things. So I'm looking to start a whole new business. I don't want to take up too much time, but going into a whole new business that's low key and it's just another skill level, right? Another thing that I can put on the notch on my belt. So if things do get better, I have multiple income streams now. And the more and more I diversify, the better chances I have of surviving, or even better than surviving, thriving. So, and pivoting, I think a lot of people are scared of discomfort, and you should be. Discomfort is not, it's not nice, right? But that's what life's all about. Nature, I do a lot of shows, lessons from nature. And if we learn from nature, a lot of things always change. We get droughts. We get fucking deluges of rain. We get ice. Look at what happened in 2021 in Texas, right? Everything froze over. There's all kinds of things. And that affects you no matter what you're doing. No matter how much health you have, how much wealth you have. The ice, if you lived in Texas, the ice came in and just fucked your fucking life up for about a week or two, maybe even 3. Didn't really follow the whole story, but you see what I mean? You had to learn how to pivot. And for those of us who are preparing and have things like a bunch of food in our freezer stockpiled up and, solar panels and generators and ways, firewood and things like that, living, sustainably, we're minimally affected by that, because these pivots, we're well aware of these things, and we know that we need to pivot at some points in our lives. And I think that when you practice, and my life is always pivoting. Just this morning, I said my daughter, I think she broke her leg the other day. She tore a muscle, and we had to wake up super early in the morning and transfer her over to her mother's house, and all kinds. We had to pivot, which I had to pivot my job. Now it's going to rain. I constantly have to pivot, but I'm used to it. And I think it's healthy to experience discomfort and having to pivot, because it's going to happen sooner or later in your life. Negotiations. Everything is up for negotiation. I think most people who go to purchase things, and anything in your life, you need to learn how to negotiate. Especially, I think it comes to price, right? Somebody will sell you a car. Of course they're going to go up high. Somebody's going to sell you a service job or something. Most of the time it's probably on mark, but there's a way to negotiate different things. Well, can you negotiate that even cheaper, right? I can't afford that. Instead of going, well, okay, I'll just pay it. And a negotiation is very important, because maybe you're like me, where you don't know how to fix everything in your vehicle, but I do know how to change my tires. I know how to change my batteries, install a starter. So you can actually ask the mechanic and say, hey, instead of you charging me $120 to replace that starter, can you just sell it to me and I'll install it myself? Yeah, but the warranty will be voided. I completely understand, sir, but I just don't have the $110. You just negotiated your way. My daughter, we went to a thrift store, secondhand store, to buy some stuff, to go looking around, and it was our sushi day. And so we're on our way to get sushi. We stop at the store, and she goes, I really like these boots. They cost $15. I says, we can't really afford to buy those things right now. You've got plenty of shoes, by the way, anyways. I didn't even see it coming, but I taught her negotiation skills. She says, Dad, how about if I forfeit one of my sushi rolls to get these boots? And I said, not only are you going to get your sushi roll, but I'm getting you the boots too, because I'm proud of you. You see how the ingenuity, and these are the type of things that we need to teach children and possibly teach ourselves. Oh my God, we already went on, we're on 17 minutes already. I do not like making these shows like this so quick. There's so much to say. I'm popping. Let me know if I popped for you guys. I think I'm going to keep going on this one. Maybe we'll do it on YouTube, or I'll just have to put a part 2. But I wanted to talk about self-acknowledgement and limitations. I want to talk about learning about business structures, whether you're employee or employer. I want to talk about self-confidence, and I want to talk about inspiration. But I ain't got the time to pack it into this show here. So, guys, if I made it pop for you, please let me know how I'm doing. Give me a review. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, middle finger. I don't give a shit. Give me a review on this so this podcast can get off the ground. If you guys want to message me, there's something that you guys are interested in hearing about, upandinitshow@gmail.com. It's Up and In It is the name, just Up and In It. You can find it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and anywhere will allow me to publish these podcasts. And as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it, and bone it, my friends.